I went up for a layup and I got undercut and I hit my head on the floor. Then I tried to get back up and an additional girl fell on top of me and drove my neck into the ground. I remember thinking I'm never going to play basketball again, and there goes my scholarship to the University of Akron. They immediately took me for an MRI and a CT scan, and there was no bleeding or swelling in the brain, but there was swelling on my spinal cord. So they put me in a neck brace and I was hospitalized. I remember the doctor coming in and telling me, you know, we have to take this one day at a time and really be patient. I was in a wheelchair, and then I moved to a walker, and then eventually through rehab I learned to re-walk and then eventually jog and then eventually sprint. I'm such a competitor that I wanted to get right back in it, and like most athletes, you know, I just want to play again. So for me, not knowing if I would return, let alone when I would return, was probably the hardest part. Sleep problems were huge for me, and even to this day I still require more sleep than, you know, the average college student. Initially after the accident, the first couple, probably year, the headaches were severe. Like, as soon as I got one, I needed to be in a dark room, away from people, ice on my head. Oftentimes I would vomit with the headaches. And then going into my sophomore year, I started like puking every day for like probably almost every other day for about a year. And I was in and out of the hospital getting IV fluids to maintain my fluid balance. And then it just went away like probably at the end of the year. I started summer school the summer after the accident, and I remember I was in my first college class, and after I just called my mom crying and I was like, Mom, I can't do this. So she immediately took me to the doctor here at Children's Hospital, and he tested me, and they said that I had a memory of a 6-year-old. And so that was kind of like the target problem, why it was so hard for me. I couldn't stay focused in class. I really couldn't remember what the professor was saying. So for me, that was the biggest thing, going from being an A and B student to, you know, having to relearn, you know, how to use my memory and pay attention. I think it really like puts into perspective like that, I mean, sports are fun and they're important, but at the end of the day, your health comes first. And I mean, I know my parents were more concerned about me as a person than me as an athlete. So looking back, you know, I would have focused more on just like, okay, I'm not just getting back for basketball, but I'm getting back because someday, you know, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, and I want to be able to walk. You really do have to listen to what your doctor is telling you, even though sometimes it may not be what you want to hear. And I also think another thing is you have to accept the person you are after the concussion. I know for me it was different because, you know, I went from being an A and B student to now like struggling, you know, maybe getting C's. So you have to accept who you are and learn to work with what you are after the accident. Really just letting athletes know, you know, you got to be patient with this. It can linger on for years. So the more you rest now, the better it'll help you down the road.